Emperor's finest metal works. It was morning as sunlight moves to the cracks of the guest room's blinders. Blake yawned and stretched as she stood up and went to the bathroom to brush her teeth. After getting out of the shower, she smelled something cooking. She walked downstairs, seeing Conrad cleaning his claws in the corner while Magnus was helping out with cooking, learning culinary arts. He was cleaning some vegetables and some meat. Jaune was barbecuing some fish as Blake's ears twitch. "Jaune, glad to see you awake. Did you sleep well?" "Blake, yeah, I went down to see what you're cooking." "Jaune, grilled salmon, tilapia, and meat for us. Seeing as you are a cat faunus, they do tend to love seafood." "Blake, yeah." Asterisk mouth waters asterisk. "Magnus, that smells good. You know, you worked as a blacksmith and now showing some great cooking skills. You should name yourself the Pre-March of the Iron Chef's Legion." "Jaune, I think that's copyrighted." "Magnus, a fuck you're the grandson of the Emperor of Mankind." "Blake, Jaune, is your Imperium hostile to any other races besides human?" "Jaune, no, as long as they don't threaten the peace, they won't be treated with hostile intent." Evidence being, as this new race has been expanding within the Eastern Fringe, is being allowed to keep their empire as long as they don't bother the Imperium. "Magnus, you mean the Tau? I've heard from scouts that a diplomatic envoy was sent to them for agreements." "Conrad, you mean the Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes?" "Jaune, I heard he was starting to court a high-ranking Tau commander." "Magnus, I hope it goes well." "Jaune, well, the fish is almost done, Blake. Please help set the table." "Blake, okay, and thanks, Jaune, you're a good friend." "Jaune, you're welcome, Blake, and to be honest, Team RWBY and JNPR are my very first friends." Blake smiled at his sincerity. They all sat and ate. Conrad was enjoying the food while Magnus was making sketches and recipes. "Jaune, so Blake, why were you crying when I found you?" "Blake, I was just so fed up of Faunus being blamed for all the wrongdoings going around Remnant." "Jaune, does this have to do with all the recent dust thefts?" "Blake, yes. Do you know about the White Fan?" "Jaune, yes, I know of their full history. And you're a part of it." That got Blake to look at him in shock. "Jaune, you should change your name, Blake. Belladonna is a dead giveaway." Blake's ears just droop. "Magnus, oh, that's cute." Her ears react with her emotions. "Jaune, uncle, please." "Blake, there are worse people in the universe undeserving of the breath they take." "Blake, I see. I stood and fought for our rights, but it was just welcomed with rejection and hate." "Jaune, history proves that right. But have you ever thought that showing violence doesn't do your movement any favors?" Blake lowers her head. "Jaune, but I believe everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, but only once. When their true intentions are shown, then I will make my judgment." "Blake, I want to prove their innocence." "Conrad, and if they're not?" "Blake, I'll try and reason with them." "Conrad, and if they don't listen?" "Blake, Conrad, you must be prepared for bloodshed, child. Evil cannot be reasoned with, and they are totally convinced that they are in the right. And they will vehemently defend their lie, then accept the truth. And when they become violent, innocents may die. So I ask you again, child, what will you do?" "Jaune." She ponders and thinks about it, taking all perspectives in and thinking of the people that will be caught in this. "Blake, I will take them down." "Conrad, and if they still persist?" "Blake, I'll end them." "Conrad, good answer. You would have made a good Night Lord." Jaune, Conrad just continues to eat his food as Magnus was enjoying his. "Jaune, let's finish up here and we'll deal with this problem of yours." "Blake, you have done enough, Jaune." "Jaune, if anything happens to you, I won't have he heart to face Ruby later. You are on my shoulders, Blake, and having 2 Primarchs and 1 Astartes should be overkill with what you have in mind." Blake sighs and smiles, thanking her friend. They finished up and started their hunt. Magnus, do you have any idea where to look? Blake, the thefts are mostly targeting dust. John, then the place where all imports and exports passes through is the docks. Blake, that's a good place to look. Conrad was cracking his shoulders. Magnus, you're in a good mood. Conrad, time to root out this plant's hive of scum and villainy. John, let's just end it with minimal amounts of dismemberment. Conrad, all right. The four then makes their way to the docks, and Vale's criminals will face 1% of what the Imperium can do.